Okay, so we're talking about. Well, first off, why are you here? Who
Well,
are you?
who am I? Well, I'm Paul Elliott Messier, and I'm the game designer behind a digital board game called Vanguards of the Lost Lands. And we have a prototype on Tabletop Simulator that you can play right now. So, yeah, why am I here? Well, I'm here because I want to tell you guys about this incredible digital board game. That's really why I'm here. Um, so yeah,
So you made this board game, and we've played it a bunch of times on Tabletop Simulator together, and the reception has been pretty good. But I guess my question is, my audience here is mostly gamers. So what would be in Vanguards that would appeal to like a gamer audience?
yeah. Well, Vanguards has. We keep hearing that it's a hybrid of so many things. From fantasy to horror to post-apocalypse, it kind of combines all of these different elements, and it's a fast, intuitive game that many consider a party game, where you can pull it out and learn as you play, which is such a benefit to the everyday person. You can play it in 30 minutes. If you really hunker down, I mean, you can drag it out for an hour and a half, but most games tend to last about 30 minutes, and that seems to be a really positive something that I've gotten a lot of good reception on. Is it's fast, it's intuitive, it's easy to learn. So yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that as well. Like it's got depth to it. But when I play it, the games that I've played run a little under an hour, so I know I'm not signing on for like an Axis and Allies type thing that's going to last all night.
Yeah.
So what got you to make it?
Well, it all started because I was playing some board games with friends, and in particular, one of my good friends had said, "Hey, Paul, you're playing by house rules. Did you know that?" And I said, "What?" And that was just a moment of kind of clarity where my friend was like, "Paul, why don't you make the board game that you've been house role playing this entire time?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. I mean, I have the capability to. I mean, I love game design, so it's not an issue for me to boot up Card Creator and make some cards and put together the game." It was just an organic process from initially going, "Hey, we're playing these games quote unquote wrong, and it's actually better. So why don't we make that the actual game?"
It sounds like a simple idea. I mean, I really enjoyed getting to see it in its early stages when it was like ebbing and flowing and changing and stuff. But it's open at this point. You have like an early version on Tabletop Simulator. I like in
Yeah.
your press. You've called it a demo, but that's really up to this point. That's the whole game. So
Yeah.
people have played this. What's the reception like?
Well, first of all, we're calling it an alpha demo because it's kind of a proof of concept of what we want to make. We want to make a standalone digital Steam game that's based on the Tabletop Simulator alpha demo, and it includes everything that's going to be in the base game. Now, in terms of the reception, we've had an amazing amount of feedback in terms of it's actually fun and not just like a Monopoly kind of fun or a Catan kind of fun, because it's a cooperative sum game and not a zero sum game where you work together. People have fun with their friends working towards a common goal. And that's kind of the design philosophy behind it. A lot of it is built around keeping you engaged and wanting to continue playing, which is a critical aspect of it. But the reception has been so positive, overwhelmingly so. And that's why we're trying to take it to the next level. Yeah.
So so the reception's been pretty good. I've talked to a couple of people hanging out on the Tabletop Simulator Discord about it, and people do seem to enjoy it. But what is the? I guess my question would be, what is the finished product going to be like? Because you said you said you're shooting for a standalone Steam game, right?
Yeah. Well, there's kind of two veins of finished products. One of those is TTS and making it a DLC for TTS that is polished, refined with proper art, proper board assets, all of that. And then there's the other side of the coin, which is the standalone Steam game. And that is going to be more of like Risk Factions, where there's animations for combat. There's 3D models for characters. There's 3D models for central locations. And just an overall production value that takes it from a board game into an experiential game, where you are part of the game.
Sounds dope.
Yeah. I'm super excited about it, to be honest. And that's the reason that I've and my team at Nightshade Entertainment Studios we've pursued it this far. And we're continuing to do the due diligence to try and make this one of the most immersive games possible. One of the highlights of 2023 or so, or 2022, when we plan on actually putting development time into the final project.
I gotcha. So that's like the timeline you're thinking about right now?
Yeah, 2022 to 2023 is kind of where we're still working out the numbers and everything, but for our timeline. But what we're looking at doing is making the best project, the most polished thing we possibly can make as an indie studio. And that's really why we need people's help. That's why we're on Kickstarter, is to try and get the financial support to make the game that everyone truly deserves.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So that's the end goal then, would be the Steam game. What is the actual game like when you play it, though?
Well, the actual game is fairly simple to play. You can move up to 2 spaces to any of the spaces you want, or choose not to move at all. Then you draw a region card for exploring the area. And that's kind of an event that happens as you explore. And from there, you can move on to the next person's turn. It's that simple. But there's a lot of details and depth in terms of what it is those cards, those region cards do. They can be items, they can be weapons, they can be armor, they can be good or bad things. Now, there's also favor and tribulation cards. And tribulation cards are kind of like your trials that your character goes through. And favor cards are generally like good things happening to your character. And at the end of your turn, you either roll, or because of the space you're on, it's determined that you'll get a tribulation or a favor card. So there's kind of 3 steps to each turn, with combat kind of in the middle if you get a combat encounter. But it blends all these different kinds of things, from like Arkham Horror to A Touch of Evil to Catan to Talisman to so many different games that it truly stands out and has a unique twist in and of its own.
There's 2, I think, mechanics that you put in this game that I think are worth drawing attention to. One is the fact that you did away with the dice roll at the beginning. Like you mentioned that you moved 2 spaces, right?
Yeah.
So that was intentionally so that you didn't roll the die and get a 1. Like you knew how far you're going to go every single turn. Because
Exactly.
I remember before you made this, playing with you, other board games, and just getting hammered by those movement rolls.
Yeah, and part of that too is getting a region card for exploring any space except the village. And the reason that's important is that it rewards you for playing the game. In a lot of other board games, you have to be on a specific space to get their version of a region card.
Right.
And by encouraging you to explore and be a part of the game right off the bat, you are rewarded for your time and effort playing the game. So it's actually a very rewarding experience as you play the game.
Right. Yes, that is one. And the really dig is finding the elders alive or dead in every region.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we took the elders from a few other games and said, why don't we make the game about finding these guys? Because these are the big kahunas. These are the people who are going to help you fight the villain. And we decided, why not make these a little randomized, where there's a situation where they could be trapped, they could be sold into slavery, they could be alive and well, or they could be frozen to death. And each of those is unique to the region you're exploring, either the mountains, the wastelands, the plains, or the boglands.
It's a good way to keep it fresh in the absence of dice rolls for movement. I think it's done.
Yeah.
The cards for each region. Now I know there's other games that do that, but this was really the game that turned me on to that mechanic. It's something I think you did very, very well, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Right. So, last question would be Kickstarter. When can we expect to see something for it?
Well, we're looking at launching our Kickstarter on February 25th. And from there, we're just looking at garnering support and showing good faith and showing you guys what we've worked on. And we're so excited to share this incredible project because it's meant a lot to the team, and it started from humble beginnings, and we're trying to take it to the next level. That's really the key here, is we can do something amazing together.
Paul, that's all I got for you, brother. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you so much, CF. Thank you, Critical Failure. I really appreciate your time.
I got to put two things in the description. One is the link to the workshop where you can check out the thing. You can get it on Tabletop Simulator and play the pre-alpha version that's up and running right now. And the second is the link that Paul provides me to go and check out more of the project, whatever that may be. I'm going to go back and update this once the Kickstarter is up and running, so that's there. And that's all I got. All right,
Excellent.
man.